Welcome, brilliant learners. If you are here, this might change the way you see your English forever. You do not have a speaking problem, you have a conversion problem. You understand English, you watch videos, you follow conversations. But when it is your turn to speak, your mind goes blank. That is not weakness, that is a missing bridge. Most learners think they need more grammar or more vocabulary. They do not. They need a system to move English from knowing to using. In this video, I will show you why your brain freezes and how to unlock it step by step. If you understand English but cannot speak, comment, "I understand, but I freeze." Now let's break the lie that is keeping you silent. Let me start by saying something that might surprise you. The moment you freeze when someone asks you a simple question in English is not proof that you are bad at English. It is not proof that you are slow. It is not proof that you will never speak confidently. It is something much simpler. It is something very normal. And once you understand it, the shame begins to disappear. You understand English. You watch videos. You follow conversations. You read messages. You nod your head and think, "Yes, I get this." But then someone turns to you and says, "What do you think?" And suddenly your mind goes quiet. Your heart beats faster. Words that were clear just seconds ago feel far away. That moment feels embarrassing. It feels heavy. You may even think, "What is wrong with me?" Nothing is wrong with you. This is where most people stop and blame themselves. Stay with me, because this changes the game. Understanding English and speaking English are two different skills. They use different mental processes. You can be strong in one and weak in the other at the same time. That is not failure. That is reality. Think about this carefully. When you understand English, you are in recognition mode. You hear words, your brain connects them to meaning. You do not have to build anything. You simply recognize and decode. That is one kind of work. Now compare that to speaking. When you speak, you must choose the words. You must decide the order. You must push the sound out of your mouth. That is a completely different kind of work. It requires speed, decision-making, and courage. Most people never realize this. They train recognition every day. They watch, they listen, they read, but they almost never train production. Then they feel shocked when production is weak. That is like watching football every day and expecting to play perfectly without practice. It does not work that way. Here is the bold truth. Your silence is not proof you are bad. It is proof you trained the wrong skill. I want you to imagine your brain has two modes. Mode A is input mode. In this mode, you receive English. You recognize words and meaning. This is where you probably feel comfortable. Mode B is output mode. In this mode, you must create English. You must choose vocabulary, build a sentence, and speak it clearly. If mode B is weak, you freeze. Not because you are stupid, not because your English is terrible, but because that muscle has not been trained enough. Think about that for a second. What if your English is already stronger than you think, but your speaking muscle is underdeveloped? When you accept that these two modes are different, something powerful happens. You stop blaming yourself. You stop saying, "I am bad at English." Instead, you say, "I need to train output." That small shift is the beginning of confidence. You are not broken. You are untrained in one specific area. That is fixable. Now let's make this practical. I want you to think about the last time you froze. Maybe someone asked you to introduce yourself. Maybe your teacher called your name. Maybe you tried to record your voice and deleted it. In that moment, what actually blocked you? There are usually three main reasons. Sometimes you could not find a word. The idea was in your mind, but the exact word was missing. That is a word gap. Sometimes the words were there, but building the sentence felt slow and messy. That is a structure delay. And sometimes the words and structure were available, but fear entered your body. Your heart raced, your mouth became dry, and you panicked. That is a fear response. Notice something important here. These are different problems, and different problems need different training. Yet most learners try to fix everything by watching more content. They say, I will watch more videos, I will read more articles. But that only strengthens Mode A. It does not automatically strengthen Mode B. This is where responsibility begins. If you want to speak, you must train speaking. Let me bring this into real life. Imagine you are introducing yourself to someone new. You understand everything they say, but when it is your turn, you hesitate. Instead of thinking, I am bad, you now think, this is Mode B. I need practice here. That mental reframing reduces pressure immediately. Or picture yourself ordering food. You know the words, but you are afraid to say them. Instead of judging yourself, you see it as training. Even talking on a phone call for 10 seconds becomes practice, not performance. Here is your first mini challenge. Right now, say one simple sentence out loud. It can be basic. My name is, or today I feel life. Do not wait for perfection, just speak. That small action is the beginning of output training. You might feel resistance. That is normal. This is the moment where growth begins. You are not a student collecting English anymore. You are a person training a voice. That identity shift matters. Now I want to give you a simple awareness exercise. Over the next week, pay attention to 3 moments when you freeze. After each moment, write down what happened. Was it a missing word? Was it slow sentence building? Or was it fear? Do not judge, just label. Then choose one of those moments. Rewrite what you wanted to say in very simple English. Strip it down. Make it shorter. Say it out loud 3 times slowly. This builds clarity, and clarity builds control. Many learners make the mistake of waiting for perfect sentences before they speak. That delay kills confidence. Others measure progress only by how much they understand. They say, I understand more now, so I am improving. Yes, you are improving in Mode A. But if you never speak, Mode B stays weak. Think about that carefully. Improvement must match your goal. If your goal is speaking, your practice must include speaking. How will you know you are improving? It is simpler than you think. You can say one sentence without a long pause. You can answer a basic question within 5 seconds. You can continue speaking even after making a mistake, instead of stopping completely. These are real signs of growth. Not perfect grammar, not advanced vocabulary. Speed and continuity. Here is another truth. Most people quit right at this stage. They feel the discomfort and return to watching videos because it feels safe. But safe does not build skill. Action builds skill. Ask yourself this honestly. When do you freeze the most? With strangers? With friends? When recording your own voice? That answer tells you where your training must begin. You are not behind, you are in training. That is a very different story. I want you to feel something right now. Relief. The freeze is normal. It is not a personal weakness. It is a predictable result of how you practiced until now. And if it was created by practice patterns, it can be changed by new practice patterns. That means you are in control. This is where your mindset shifts from confusion to clarity. You see the real problem, from clarity to capability, because now you know what to train, from capability to action, because you are starting to speak, even in small ways, and from action to ownership, because you stop blaming your personality and start building your skill. Stay with this journey. We are not just fixing speaking, we are building a new relationship with your voice. Now that you understand the freeze is normal and predictable, we are ready to uncover the hidden habit that secretly makes it worse every single time you try to speak. Let's talk about the moment your brain moves fast but your mouth cannot follow. You know this feeling. Someone asks you a simple question in English. You understand it instantly. The meaning is clear. But instead of answering, your mind jumps back to your first language. You build the sentence there. Then, you try to convert it into English. And while you are converting, the silence grows, the pressure grows, the panic grows. By the time you are ready to speak, the moment is gone. This is not a vocabulary problem. This is not a grammar problem. This is a speed problem. Here is the bold truth. Translation is too slow for real speaking. Even if your English is good, if you translate first, you will always feel behind. Most learners never realize this. They believe the path to fluency is building bigger sentences in their first language and then finding perfect English versions. But real conversation does not wait. Real conversation moves. You must move with it. Think about children for a moment. Why do children speak fast with small words while adults stay silent with big grammar? Children do not translate. They connect meaning directly to words. They hear a phrase many times. They use it many times. It becomes automatic. They recall it. They do not build it. This changes the game. The goal is not perfect English. The goal is fast, simple English. That shift alone removes so much pressure. You are not trying to impress anyone with complexity. You are trying to express yourself clearly and quickly. Right now, your brain is doing too much work when you try to speak. It thinks in one language. It searches for structure. It searches for exact vocabulary. It checks grammar. That is a heavy load. Under pressure, heavy load creates panic. Panic creates silence. So we replace the system. Instead of thinking in your first language and converting, you will use what I call the direct meaning switch. This is simple but powerful. Instead of building a sentence from zero every time, you attach meaning directly to English phrases you already know. You treat phrases as complete units, not as separate words. Stay with me. Imagine someone asks, "How are you?" Instead of thinking in your language first, you train yourself to respond automatically with ready phrases. I am good. I am a little tired. I am excited today. These are full units. They are not constructed in the moment. They are recalled. When you do this, speaking becomes recall, not construction. And recall is faster. This lowers mental pressure. It reduces fear. It increases speed. When your brain does not have to build from scratch, it can focus on flow. That is how confidence begins to grow. Now here is where most people make a mistake. They collect random words. They learn lists of vocabulary that have no personal meaning. Then, when they try to speak, those words are floating in their mind with no structure. That creates chaos. Another mistake is trying to sound advanced too early. Long sentences feel impressive in your head, but they are difficult to control in real time. Complexity kills speed. You do not need complexity. You need control. Let me make this practical. You need a small bank of ready phrases connected to your real life, not textbook examples. Your life. Pick 3 simple areas: you, your day, your problems. For you, prepare phrases like, I work as injon I enjoy. For your day, prepare phrases like, today I woke up at, I am working on, I feel busy because. For problems, prepare phrases like, I have a small issue, I do not understand this part, can you repeat that? Notice something important. These are short, they are simple, they are real. Now here is your first direct challenge. Speak for 20 seconds about your day using only easy phrases. Do not stop. If you forget a word, do not translate. Replace it with something simpler. If you cannot say exhausted, say very tired. If you cannot say appointment, say meeting. Keep moving. This is where most people stop. They pause to search for the perfect word. Do not do that. Movement is more important than precision right now. You are not here to impress. You are here to express. Let me ask you something important. When someone asks what you do, what happens in your mind? Do you see the sentence in your language first, or does an English phrase come directly? That difference tells you how strong your direct meaning switch is. Imagine a real situation. Someone asks, where do you live? Instead of thinking in your language and converting the full sentence, you train your brain to attach meaning directly to, I live in Bay. That phrase becomes automatic. Then you add the city name. Simple, fast, clean. Or someone asks the price of something. Instead of building a complex, polite question in your head, you recall, how much is this? That is a complete unit. You use it instantly. Another example. You need to explain a small problem. Instead of constructing a long explanation, you start with, I have a small problem. Then you add one short detail. Keep it simple. Keep it moving. If you translate, you will always feel slow, even with good English. Think about that. Now let us talk about measurement. How do you know this method is working? First, you answer using a full phrase without translating first. You feel it. The phrase comes quickly. Second, you can continue speaking for 15 seconds using simple connected phrases, not perfect sentences, connected phrases. Third, your pauses become shorter. You feel less panic because you are recalling instead of building. This is progress. Many learners wait to feel confident before they speak fast. That is backwards. Speed with simple language creates confidence, not the other way around. You are not slow. You are overloaded, and you are fixing that overload now. I want you to try something powerful. Choose one topic, maybe your morning routine. Write 4 short phrases about it. Speak them in different order without stopping. Do it again tomorrow, then again the next day. Notice how your speed increases. That is your direct meaning switch getting stronger. At some point, you will feel a shift. Instead of thinking about grammar first, you will think about meaning. Instead of building from zero, you will reach for phrases. That moment is important. That is when you stop being a translator and start becoming a speaker. Let that sink in. You are not behind. You are rewiring. And this is your responsibility now. If you continue translating every sentence in your head, you are choosing slowness. If you practice direct recall daily, you are choosing speed. This is capability turning into action. Ask yourself honestly, which is harder for you right now, finding words or building the order of the sentence? Your answer tells you where to focus. If words are hard, build stronger phrase banks. If structure is slow, practice repeating short frames until they become automatic. Most people never train this consciously. That is why they stay stuck for years. You are not going to be most people. You now understand the real blocker. You now have a replacement system. And you now have exercises that build speed without stress. But there is still one powerful factor that can destroy speed in seconds, even when you stop translating, even when your phrases are ready. Something else enters and shuts everything down. There is a moment that hurts more than any grammar mistake. It is the moment you feel your heart beating fast, your face getting warm, and your mind going blank even though you know the words. You prepared, you practiced, you have the phrases ready. But when real pressure enters the room, your voice disappears, and then the self-judgment begins. What if I sound stupid? What if they laugh? What if I make a mistake? Stay with me, because this is where everything becomes clear. Your speaking does not fail because your English is missing. It fails because your nervous system takes control and shuts your voice. This is not about intelligence, it is about biology. When your brain senses social danger, even small danger, it moves into protection mode. Protection mode is not interested in fluent sentences, it is interested in survival. That is why your thoughts scatter. That is why your voice shakes. Most people never realize this. They think the problem is vocabulary. They think the problem is grammar. So they study more. But when the pressure returns, the freeze returns. Think about that. The issue is not knowledge. The issue is reaction. This is the bold truth. If you only practice when you feel confident, you will never become confident. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is something you train under controlled stress. And that is exactly what we are going to do. Right now, you are capable. You understand the difference between input and output. You are reducing translation. But capability alone is not enough. You must train under the same emotional conditions where you fail. This is where most people stop. They stay in safe practice forever. Then they feel shocked when real life feels different. Let me introduce a simple but powerful structure. I call it the safety to stress ladder. Imagine 4 levels. Level 1 is completely safe. You are alone. No one is watching. You speak to yourself. Level 2 is slightly uncomfortable. You record your voice. You hear yourself. Level 3 is moderate pressure. You speak to one trusted person. Level 4 is short public exposure. You speak one line in a real situation. You climb slowly. Not in one jump. Not with dramatic moves. Slowly. Why does this work? Because confidence is trained, not hoped for. When you repeat speaking under manageable stress, your brain learns something important. It learns that speaking is not dangerous. The fear response becomes weaker. The voice becomes steadier. Think about that carefully. What if the fear you feel is not a warning that you are bad, but a training signal, telling you that growth is happening? Let us break this down clearly. If you are terrified of public speaking, do not jump into a long presentation. That is not bravery. That is self-sabotage. Start at your current level. Maybe that is speaking alone for 2 minutes. Stay there until it feels normal. Then move one step up. Record 1 minute. Listen once. Do not delete it. Here is your mini challenge right now. Record 30 seconds of yourself speaking about your day. Do not delete it. Even if you hate how it sounds, keep it. That is level 2. That is training. Notice what happens in your body when you press record. Slight tension. Slight fear. Good. That is manageable stress. That is growth. A common mistake is jumping into hard conversations too early and then quitting after one bad experience. You speak once in public, you stumble, and you decide you are not ready. That is like going to the gym one day, lifting too much weight, getting sore, and never returning. Growth requires gradual exposure. Another mistake is practicing only when you feel motivated. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline builds confidence. If you wait to feel brave before speaking, you will wait forever. Let us make this real. Imagine walking into a small shop. Your goal is not to give a speech. Your goal is to say one sentence clearly. How much is this? That is level 4 but very short. Your heart might beat faster. That is normal. You speak anyway. You leave the shop. You realize something powerful. You survived. Nothing bad happened. Or imagine joining an online call. Instead of staying silent, you say one line. Just one. It might be simple. It might be short. But you spoke under pressure. That counts. Or sending a voice note to a friend instead of texting. That small shift from text to voice builds courage. This changes the game. You are no longer hiding from pressure. You are using it. How do you know you are improving? Not by feeling calm. Calm will come later. Improvement shows up when you can speak while feeling nervous and still continue. Improvement shows up when your voice shakes less than before. Improvement shows up when you recover faster after a mistake, instead of stopping completely. And one day, you notice something new. You start speaking first instead of waiting. That is a big moment. That is ownership. Let me give you a clear action plan. For the next 7 days, follow a simple pressure progression. The first 2 days, speak alone for 2 minutes. Out loud, not in your head. On day 3, record 1 minute and listen once. On day 4, send one short voice note to someone you trust. On day 5, speak one sentence to a stranger in a simple situation. On day 6, speak for 30 seconds in a real conversation. On day 7, repeat the hardest day again. Read that carefully. Repeat the hardest day. That is where growth hides. You are either protecting your ego or building your voice. Choose. I want you to reflect honestly. Which level feels hardest for you? Recording yourself, speaking to one person, or saying something in public? That answer shows you where your training must focus. Most learners try to remove fear completely before they act. But fear does not disappear before action. Fear reduces after repeated action. That is a law of growth. Here is a powerful identity shift. You are not a shy person. You are a person in exposure training. That difference matters. One identity keeps you small, the other moves you forward. At this point, your journey is escalating. You moved from confusion to clarity. You understood translation was slowing you down. Now you see that fear, not English level, shuts your voice. And instead of running from fear, you are building a system to face it step by step. This is commitment. And commitment is where real transformation begins. You are no longer waiting for confidence. You are manufacturing it. You are not hoping pressure disappears. You are learning to operate inside it. Stay with this path, because once you can speak under pressure in small, controlled moments, the final step is making this automatic. Speaking will stop feeling like a battle and start feeling like a routine. And that is exactly where we are going next. At this point, you have faced something powerful. You stopped blaming your English level. You stopped translating in panic. You started training under pressure. But now you might be thinking something very honest. I understand the ideas. I feel motivated. But what do I actually do every day? That question matters, because motivation without structure fades. Courage without a plan becomes random. If you want real progress, you need a system that works even when you do not feel inspired. Here is the truth that changes everything. Fluency is not talent. Fluency is daily output. Small speaking every day beats long study once a week. Most people never realize this. They study hard for 1 hour, feel proud, then stay silent for 5 days. That pattern feels productive, but it does not build speed. Speaking is a physical skill. It needs frequency more than intensity. This is where we build your speaking engine. Think of an engine. It does not start because you understand how it works. It starts because you turn it on consistently. Your voice is the same. It must be activated daily, even in small ways. So here is your system. 10 minutes. That is it. Not 1 hour, not 30 minutes. 10 focused minutes of output. Stay with me. This is simple, but powerful. In the first minute, choose one life topic, not a random topic, something real. Your morning, your work, your plan for tomorrow, your feelings today. Keep it personal. In the next 3 minutes, speak in short phrases about that topic. Do not aim for perfect grammar, aim for movement. If you are talking about your morning, you might say, I woke up at 7, I felt tired, I made coffee, I checked my phone. Keep it simple. Keep it flowing. This is where most people stop. They try to fix every small mistake while speaking. Do not stop. Keep going. Now minutes 5 to 7. Repeat the same topic, but add small upgrades. Maybe add one feeling. Maybe add one reason. I woke up at 7 because I had work. I felt tired but also excited. Small upgrades. Not big changes. This builds expansion without overwhelm. Finally, minutes 8 to 10. Do one real-world action. Send a short voice note. Practice answering one common question. Pretend you are in a conversation and respond out loud. This connects your practice to reality. This changes the game. Why does this work? Because short sessions remove resistance. 10 minutes feels possible. Repetition builds speed. Speaking about the same topic twice in one session trains recall. Small upgrades build growth without fear. You are not trying to become advanced overnight. You are trying to become consistent. Let me ask you something important. What could your speaking become after 30 days of only 10 minutes a day? Think about that seriously. That is 5 hours in a month. 5 focused hours of output. Not passive watching, active speaking. Your English will not change by understanding more. It changes when you use more. Now here is the responsibility part. You must choose one time every day. Same place, same trigger, same length. Maybe after brushing your teeth, maybe before sleep, maybe during a walk. Consistency builds identity. When you speak at the same time every day, your brain expects it. If you change the routine every day, you lose momentum. If you make it too long, you quit. If you try to fix pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and confidence all at once, you overload yourself. Keep it beginner level. Keep it simple. Keep it consistent. Let me show you how this looks in real life. You stand in front of the mirror in the morning. You speak for 10 minutes about your plan for the day. Or you walk outside and talk quietly about what you see. Or before sleep, you recap your day out loud. Or before an important call, you rehearse simple answers. Or after watching a short English video, you summarize it in your own words for 2 minutes. These are not dramatic actions. They are small daily deposits. Over time, they change you. Here is a practical drill that will build strength quickly. Choose one topic for 3 days. For example, your daily routine. On day 1, speak simply about it. No pressure. On day 2, speak about the same routine but a little faster. On day 3, speak about it again, but add feelings and opinions. I like my morning routine because Bekelor. Or I feel stressed when coid. Notice what is happening. The structure stays similar. The details change. This builds depth without confusion. This is where many learners get distracted. They jump to new topics every day. They chase new vocabulary. They feel busy, but they are not building control. Mastery comes from repetition with variation. Do the first 10 minutes today. Do not wait. After you finish, tell yourself out loud, I showed up. That sentence matters. Let me give you a bold statement. You are not an English learner anymore. You are an English practicer. That identity shift changes your behavior. Learners consume, practicers produce. Measure your progress in simple ways. Are you doing the routine at least 5 days a week? Are your sentences coming faster than last week? Can you speak longer without stopping? Do you notice fewer blank moments? These are real signs of growth. Think about where you were before this journey. You froze. You translated. You avoided pressure. Now you have a system. You have structure. You have daily action. This is the shift from capability to ownership. Most people wait for a perfect plan. You now have a simple one. Most people wait for long study sessions. You now understand that short daily output wins. Most people feel guilty when they miss a day and then quit. You will miss a day sometimes. That is human. The power is in returning the next day. Let me ask you directly. What time of day can you commit to? Morning, afternoon, or night? Choose now. Do not delay that decision. Your engine needs a starting time. This is where growth becomes predictable. You no longer depend on mood, you depend on routine. And here is something powerful. When speaking becomes daily, fear reduces naturally. When you speak every day, your brain stops treating it as a rare event. It becomes normal. Stay with this, because once your engine is running daily, the next step is not about speaking more. It is about speaking better, cleaner, clearer, more confident without adding grammar stress. You now have momentum, and momentum is powerful. Now you are speaking more. You are practicing daily. You are facing pressure, but a new thought might be growing inside you. I can speak, but I want to sound better. I want to sound clearer. I do not want to get stuck trying to say something complicated. I want control. That desire is powerful. It means you are no longer afraid of speaking. You are thinking about quality. That is growth. Let me tell you something important right now. Clear English is powerful English. You do not need advanced grammar to speak well. You need strong, simple structure. Most learners believe confidence comes from using big words and long sentences. That belief creates tension. They start speaking, and halfway through they panic because the sentence is too long to control. They stop. They restart. They apologize. The flow is broken. This is where most people stop. They think the solution is more grammar study. It is not. Here is the bold truth. Most people do not need more grammar. They need more control. Control comes from structure. Stable structure reduces thinking. When you know how your sentence will begin, your brain relaxes. You are not building from chaos. You are building from a frame. Let me show you how this works. You choose a simple sentence frame. Something like I want, or I need, or I think. These are powerful starters. They are flexible. They work in many situations. They give you a clear beginning. When you speak, you begin with the frame. Then you add a simple detail. Subject, verb, simple detail, that is enough. For example, I want a coffee, clear, direct. Or I think this is good, simple, controlled. Or I need help with this, effective. Think about that. These are not advanced sentences, but they work in real life. Now, once you are comfortable, you add one extra piece. Not 5, 1. Maybe time, maybe reason, maybe feeling. I want a coffee because I am tired. I think this is good for our team. I need help with this today. Small expansion. That is real fluency. This changes the game because it removes overload. Instead of trying to build complex grammar from the start, you create a strong base and expand slowly. Let me ask you something. What if sounding confident is just speaking shorter, not speaking smarter? Think about conversations you respect. Many confident speakers use clear, direct sentences. They do not speak in complicated structures all the time. They choose clarity. A confident speaker chooses clarity over perfection. Right now, your responsibility is not to sound advanced. It is to sound clear and stable. Here is how you apply this daily. Choose 3 frames you will use often. I want, I need, I think. Use them in your 10-minute routine. Add place, time, reason or feeling, but only one extra piece at a time. For example, imagine you are explaining what you want to buy. Instead of saying a long, complicated sentence, you say, I want this product. Then you add, I want this product because it is cheaper. That is enough. Or imagine you are sharing your opinion in a meeting. I think this idea is strong. Then add, I think this idea is strong because it saves time. Clear, direct, controlled. When you describe what you did yesterday, you might say, I went to the market. Then expand slightly. I went to the market and bought some fruit. Notice how you are not building heavy grammar. You are expanding naturally. Now let us talk about common mistakes. One big mistake is trying to use complex grammar too early. You start with a complicated structure, lose control in the middle, and then stop completely. That damages confidence. Another mistake is correcting yourself in the middle of a sentence. You say 3 words, then you stop and go back, then you stop again. The flow dies. Correction is important, but timing is more important. Finish your sentence first, then correct it if needed. Over-explaining is another trap. You feel pressure to give too many details. That pressure creates confusion. Keep it simple. One main idea, one extra detail. Done. Stay with me. This is powerful. You measure your progress in clear ways. Your sentences become shorter and smoother. You correct after finishing, not during. You can expand with one extra detail naturally without panic. That is real improvement. Here is a direct challenge. Pick one frame right now. For example, I think. Create 5 sentences with different details. I think this is interesting. I think English is important. I think I need more practice. I think today will be busy. I think this method works. Speak them slowly and clearly. Then speak them again a little faster. Record one sentence and listen. Focus on clarity, not accent, not perfection. Clarity. This is where most learners discover something important. They realize they can speak clearly without using complex grammar. That realization builds control. You are not lacking ability. You are training stability. Notice the shift happening inside you. Earlier, you were afraid to speak. Then you trained speed. Then you trained under pressure. Now you are refining structure. This is escalation. This is growth. Ask yourself honestly, which frame feels easiest for you right now? I think I want or I need? Your answer shows your starting strength. Let me give you a bold statement. If you can control simple sentences, you can control conversations. Complexity can come later. Control must come first. Think about that deeply. When you speak clearly, people understand you. When people understand you, your confidence rises. When confidence rises, your speed increases. It is a cycle. This is the shift from capability to ownership. You are no longer speaking randomly. You are choosing structure. You are building deliberately. You are not chasing impressive English. You are building reliable English. And that identity matters. You are becoming someone who values clarity over ego, someone who finishes thoughts, someone who stays steady even when a sentence is not perfect. Most people dream about speaking fluently. Few train simple control daily. You are doing the work that creates real results. Stay with this discipline, because clarity is the foundation of courage. And very soon, you will face a test that forces you to prove everything you have built so far. You have learned the system. You have practiced daily. You have faced pressure in small, controlled ways. Now we arrive at the moment where everything becomes real. Not theory, not preparation, real. You feel it inside your chest right now. That nervous excitement. I want to do this, but I am scared. That feeling is not weakness. That feeling is the doorway. Let me tell you something clearly. Confidence is not a feeling you wait for. Confidence is a result you earn by showing up when you do not feel ready. Most people never realize this. They think confident people feel brave first and then act. The truth is the opposite. Confident people act first, often with a shaking voice, and the feeling comes later. This is where most people stop. They prepare, they study, they plan, but they never commit publicly. They never draw a line and say, "For the next 7 days I am doing this no matter what." And without that line, progress stays soft and optional. So now I am asking you to step forward. For the next 7 days, you will not watch. You will participate. You will run what I call the 7-day speak test. This is not about being perfect. It is about proving to yourself that you can show up under real conditions. The goal is not to impress anyone. The goal is to build identity. Here is the deeper truth. Small wins build identity. Identity builds confidence. Confidence builds action. And action builds more small wins. That is the loop. Think about that carefully. If you tell yourself you are someone who speaks daily, but you do not speak daily, your brain does not believe you. But if you speak even for 30 seconds and mark it done, your brain records proof. Proof changes identity. This is the shift. You begin by choosing a small speaking task for today. Not tomorrow, today. Maybe it is recording 30 seconds about your morning. Maybe it is sending one short voice note to someone you trust. Maybe it is asking one simple question in a store. It must be small enough to complete, but real enough to feel slightly uncomfortable. If you do not practice speaking in real life, you will stay a silent expert forever. That sentence might feel strong, but it is honest. You can understand everything and still remain invisible if you never use your voice. You cannot call yourself a speaker if you never speak. Now imagine this. Today you record 30 seconds. Your voice shakes a little. You do not like how it sounds, but you do not delete it. You mark it done. Tomorrow you send a voice note. You hesitate before pressing send. You feel exposed. You press send anyway. The next day, you stand in front of the mirror and speak for 1 full minute without stopping. The day after that, you ask a simple question in real life. Your heart beats fast. You speak anyway. Stay with me. By day 5 or 6, something shifts. The fear does not disappear, but it becomes smaller. You notice that you recover faster if you make a mistake. You notice your sentences come a little quicker. You notice you can speak longer without stopping. This is measurable progress. Are you willing to be uncomfortable for 7 days to change your next 7 years? That question matters, because this is not about 7 days. It is about who you become during those 7 days. The system is simple but powerful. You choose a task each day. You complete it no matter what. You track it visibly. Maybe you write it in a notebook. Maybe you mark it on a calendar. You reward consistency, not perfection. If your accent is not perfect, it does not matter. If you make a grammar mistake, it does not matter. What matters is that you showed up. Most people measure success by perfection. That kills momentum. You will measure success by completion. There are common traps here. Some people make the tasks too hard. They try to give a long speech on the first day. They overwhelm themselves and quit. Others quit after one bad day. They stumble, feel embarrassed, and decide they are not ready. And many measure progress by accent, or sounding advanced instead of by courage and continuity. Do not fall into those traps. You are not weak. You are training. When you finish all 7 days, even if they were messy, something powerful happens. You cannot deny your growth. You cannot say you are someone who never speaks. You have evidence. You spoke 7 days in a row. Your fear reduced. Your speed increased. Your control improved. This is ownership. Picture a real moment. You are in a small group and you introduce yourself in 2 sentences. It is not perfect, but you did it. Or you speak one sentence in a meeting instead of staying silent. Or you make a short phone call at home to practice asking for information. These are not dramatic moments. They are identity moments. And identity moments are the ones that change your life. Here is what I want you to do right now. Decide your day one task, not in your head. Decide it clearly. Maybe it is recording 30 seconds. Maybe it is sending a voice note. Maybe it is speaking one sentence to a stranger. Choose it. Set a time today. Do it even if your voice shakes. Then mark it done. Think about that. Mark it done. That simple act builds power. Then tomorrow, repeat with one small upgrade. Maybe speak for 40 seconds instead of 30. Maybe add one extra sentence. Not a big jump, a small one. This is how confidence is built. Not by waiting, not by hoping, by action under slight discomfort. Most people never realize this. The feeling of fear does not mean stop, it means grow. Ask yourself honestly, what is your day one task going to be? Recording, voice note, or one real-life sentence? Make that decision now, and when you complete it, return and update yourself. Even if no one sees it, you see it. This is the moment where you stop being someone who consumes advice and start being someone who executes. You are no longer watching, you are participating. There is a visible transformation happening inside you. Earlier you were confused, then you became clear, then capable. Now you are stepping into responsibility. Responsibility is powerful. It means you accept that growth depends on your daily action. Let me give you one final strong truth in this chapter. The person you become after 7 days of consistent speaking is not the same person who was afraid to record 30 seconds. Stay with this journey, because in the next step, you will see how this challenge does not just improve your speaking ability, it reshapes your identity completely. There was a time when you understood almost everything and still felt trapped. You could watch videos, follow conversations, read articles, and nod your head. But when someone looked at you and waited for your answer, your mind went quiet. Your mouth felt heavy. Your confidence disappeared. That version of you is real. Do not deny it, but also understand something powerful right now. That chapter is ending. You are not here by accident. You did not just collect random tips. You built a bridge. You learned that speaking is a separate skill. You trained your output. You faced pressure. You simplified your structure. You completed challenges that once scared you. That is not small. That is transformation in motion. Now we lock it in. The truth that changes everything at this stage is simple. Speaking is not a gift. It is a habit you own. Your identity is not decided by talent. It is decided by repeated proof. Most people wait for a breakthrough moment. They imagine one day they will suddenly feel fluent. But your breakthrough is not coming. You are creating it. Stay with me. You are no longer trying to become someone who speaks English. You are becoming someone who is an English speaker in training. That phrase matters. In training means you are active. In training means you show up. In training means progress is expected. Identity creates behavior. Behavior creates results. Results strengthen identity. This is the loop that builds real confidence. Think about how this works in daily life. If you define yourself as someone who speaks daily, you will look for opportunities to speak. If you define yourself as someone who uses simple English fast, you will avoid overthinking. If you define yourself as someone who does not stop for mistakes, you will finish your thoughts even when they are imperfect. That shift is powerful. Most people never realize this. They try to change behavior without changing identity. It never lasts. So here is the shift. You define your new identity in actions, not in dreams. You say to yourself, I speak every day. I use simple English fast. I do not stop for mistakes. I finish my thought. These are not motivational lines. These are operating rules. This is where many learners hide again. They get a few wins and then disappear. They compare their voice to someone more advanced and feel small. They try to become advanced overnight and burn out. That cycle stops here. You are not stuck. You are evolving. Let that sink in. Now you need structure to protect this identity. You keep your daily 10-minute output routine. That is non-negotiable. You choose one real-world speaking moment each week. Maybe you introduce yourself confidently in a group. Maybe you share a simple opinion during a meeting. Maybe you ask a question in a store without rehearsing it 10 times in your head. And once a month, you record yourself for 1 minute and compare it to a previous recording. Not to judge, to observe growth. Tracking creates proof. Proof builds certainty. Imagine yourself introducing your name clearly and calmly. Imagine sharing a short opinion without your heart racing out of control. Imagine telling a simple story about your day and actually enjoying the sound of your voice. These are not fantasies. They are outcomes of repetition. Let me ask you something directly. What identity will you choose today? Silent learner or brave speaker? You cannot be both forever. At some point you decide. This is the tension moment. You can either be the person who understands or the person who speaks. Decide now. The identity statement practice is simple but powerful. Write one line for yourself. I am an English speaker in training, and I speak every day. Say it out loud. Feel it. Then prove it with a 30-second speaking clip today. Save it as your before clip. Do not judge it, just save it. After 30 days of consistent speaking, record another clip and compare. That comparison will be your evidence. Most people wait for others to validate their progress. You will validate yourself with proof. Think about how far you have come. You removed the translation trap. You trained under pressure. You built a daily speaking engine. You learned that clarity beats big grammar. You accepted the 7-day speak test. You showed up when you were nervous. That is not accidental improvement. That is intentional transformation. This is the emotional climax. You once felt ashamed that you understood so much but could not speak. You felt behind. You felt frustrated. You questioned your ability. But that pain had a reason. It pushed you here. And now we flip it. You are not someone who only understands English. You are someone who uses English. You are not waiting for fluency. You are building it daily. You are an English speaker in progress, and progress is power. Feel that shift. Your English was never missing. Your voice was waiting. Here is your commitment. Do your day one task today. Do not wait for confidence. Create it. Confidence is the result of action repeated under slight discomfort. The more you act, the more natural speaking becomes. The more natural it becomes, the less you hide. If this journey has helped you see your voice differently, then stay connected to this path. Keep training step by step. Keep showing up. Comment your day one task and write the sentence that changes everything. I speak today. That declaration matters. There is one final decision in front of you. You have the tools. You have the system. You have the challenge. What you need now is ownership. Ownership means you stop looking for excuses and start collecting proof. Most people will watch this and feel inspired for a few minutes. Few will act. The difference between those two groups is identity. You are not behind. You are building. And as you move forward from here, remember this. Every sentence you speak, no matter how simple, is a brick in your new identity. Every small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Keep voting. Keep speaking. Keep proving. Because from this point on, you are no longer just learning English. You are living it.